What is going on, everybody? Shri Kanase here. So the 5 elements of a 6-figure Shopify dropshipping store. Now, dropshippers are always wondering what separates the 6-figure Shopify dropshipping stores from their own store, and they may be in a place where they're not really making a lot of sales. If they're making sales, they're not really that profitable, or if they're actually profitable, they're not making enough sales and enough profits. So exactly what separates you if you happen to be within one of these 3 categories and someone who is doing 6 figures, maybe monthly, maybe yearly. Now, this is going to be surprising to you, but there's not a lot of things that actually separate a 6-figure Shopify dropshipping store compared to a dropshipping store that may not be doing as well. Now, personally, being on both ends of the spectrum, going from doing basically nothing, having failed the Shopify stores, to now doing over 7 figures with Shopify, I've kind of learned a few things on my journey, and that is exactly what I'm going to give you, the top 5 takeaways from my entire journey, from when I started dropshipping to until now. So this is one video you're going to actually want to watch until the end, but let's get right into it. The first thing you'll have to do in order to kind of make the best of these 5 elements, however, is to destroy that like button until it turns blue. I promise it's going to take just 2 quick seconds and it'll really help me out. Okay, hopefully I've done that. But element number 1, and it starts off with the advertising platform. Now, for a lot of people may actually have thought that this element may have been the Shopify website itself. That is far from the truth. And by the way, these elements are ranked from most important to least important. Of course, it doesn't mean that the element at the end should be completely ignored. However, this is ranked in the order of priority. So number 1 thing is advertising platform. Note how I did not say the ads themselves. Of course, it's a no-brainer that the ads themselves are going to be important once you choose the advertising platform. However, choosing the right advertising platform is the number 1 element of a 6-figure Shopify store. Do you want to be advertising on a platform which is already getting bombarded with dropshipping ads like Facebook? Or do you want to kind of take the route which is a little bit harder nowadays, such as Google ads or Bing ads or Pinterest or maybe even TikTok, to start your dropshipping journey? Now, one thing about specifically Google ads is that it has become a little bit extra hard to get your Shopify store and the merchant center approved. And what that is going to do is actually weed out all of the people who were just going on to Google ads to kind of basically scam people or basically make a quick buck. This may seem bad to you because now it does become harder for you as well to get your account approved. However, this is stopping a lot of unnecessary traffic. This is making it really hard to actually even enter the market. Anytime it is extremely hard to enter the market, that means there's going to be a lower amount of people within that market. So you have a better chance of scaling with Google ads compared to, say, Facebook ads, where it's as easy as just starting a new Facebook ads account, starting a business manager account, and you're basically good to go. Of course, Facebook has its own problems nowadays, but compared to Google, in my opinion, I think Facebook is still a little bit easier to get started with. But as you guys see on the screen, Facebook already has over 3 million different businesses advertising, whereas on Google, it may not be as high of a number as with Facebook. So this is already kind of giving you a little bit more room to get in and capture your market share compared to if you were just going with Facebook. This is one mistake a lot of dropshippers make. They choose the wrong advertising platform. They spend all of their resources trying to figure out that platform, in the end to achieve nothing. So number 1 thing you want to do is choose the right platform. Of course, just because I always say Google ads, I always put out Google ads videos, does not mean that you want to go with Google ads. You can go with TikTok, Pinterest, Bing, whatever else you want to use. But number 1 element of a successful 6-figure Shopify store is the advertising platform. But of course, just having the advertising platform is not enough. You got to make sure that the traffic that comes from these ad platforms goes the right way within your funnel. And if it happens to leak out, you have ways of capturing that back. So when it comes to your back end, exactly what should you be setting up and what is it that a 6-figure Shopify store does with their backend? First of all, before even starting ads, they make sure that their email flows are in place. And by email flows, I don't just mean abandoned cart. They have welcome series emails, customer win back emails, and so forth, because they want to be capturing leads and capturing lost sales from all angles and all corners. You don't want to just set one up and then forget about it as well. You want to keep on going in consistently every 30 days or so to see the analytics and see how they're performing, because that lets you improve those email flows. Second thing is SMS flows and SMS retargeting. I made a video on the SMS retargeting app that I use. It's called SMS Bump, a great app to be using for this purpose. But same thing as with email flows, you want to make sure everything within that is set up and properly optimized. Third thing is retargeting. You can retarget on Facebook, Google, and so forth. It's up to you, but make sure your pixels are correctly installed and you have some sort of retargeting audiences created. And it's even better if you have already started a retargeting campaign at a very, very low budget. Of course, if the audience doesn't have anybody in it, the ad itself is not going to spend much money, but having a backend set up right from the beginning is extremely important. And this is element number 2 of a six-figure Shopify store. If you want to be achieving six figures, this is a must. But this brings me to point number 3, and that is the product. Of course, everything else is basically irrelevant if you don't have the right products. So when it comes to a six-figure Shopify dropshipping store, you want to be making sure that your product is on point, and this should be based on the advertising platform. Now, if you follow my Google Ads videos, you know that the product should have a decent amount of search volume, it shouldn't have too many competitors, and so forth. If you try to apply those same criteria to a product that you want to advertise on Facebook, it may really not work as well as you want, or it may not even work at all, simply because the criteria is different for both platforms. One product that may basically crush it with one platform may do very, very bad with the next. So you want to base the product on the advertising platform. But you want to mostly be focusing on, especially in 2021 and onwards, the quality of the product and the shipping times. These two things are going to basically determine what kind of results you get with the platform itself and whether or not you can even advertise on that platform. Because with Facebook, there's something called the quality score, which is determined by how customers felt regarding your business, regarding the product which you sent them. So right now, if you send them a bad product with slow shipping times or the quality isn't too great, it's going to be known to Facebook because they are going to ask for feedback from these customers when the person is scrolling through their Facebook newsfeed. And when it goes below a certain level, you really risk your ad account of getting banned. So if you don't want to get banned with Facebook, you need to make sure these two things are on point. Of course, the rest of the things such as a quirky product, a video ad that you can find are important, but these two things are extremely important, especially in 2021 and onward. Same thing with Google. With Google, if it notices that your shipping times mentioned in the description are basically above a certain number, it's going to automatically suspend your account. You're not going to even be able to start advertising on Google. So these ad platforms are basically coming down on dropshippers. It has become a little bit harder to dropship, but that does not mean it's the end. You just want to find a certain ways to get around this. And there are, of course, ways. If you watch my videos, you should already be advertising and using those ways. But of course, having the right product is one of the next elements of a successful six-figure Shopify dropshipping store. This brings me to point number 4, and that is customer service. No matter what kind of product you provide, if you don't have good customer service, it is going to come and bite you in the behind. This is simply because customer service determines whether a person wants to come shop with you again or not. It determines whether they trust you and don't want to open a chargeback with you or not. And this depends entirely on the reply times you give them, meaning how quickly are you replying to their emails? What is the reply quality, meaning are you just copying and pasting stuff and they clearly know it's basically a robot responding to them? Or are you actually writing down the responses yourself, maybe personalizing it a bit? Number 3 is ease of accessibility, meaning how hard is it to even contact you? I've shopped on websites before. I've seen other dropshipping stores before where it takes about 2 hours to find the contact us page. And if that's the case for you, it's going to be very, very hard for you to achieve six-figure status with your Shopify dropshipping store or just your Shopify store in general. That's simply because it's extremely hard to even get in contact with you. What makes you think they want to spend money on your store and trust you with their hard-earned money? So these 3 things determine customer service. Again, reply times, reply quality, and ease of accessibility. And this is what separates a six-figure Shopify dropshipping store from another store which may just be basically getting by. But in the end, all of these things cannot be brought together without the website itself. But as you guys notice, website layout is number 5 on my list. That's simply because, sure, website layout is extremely important, but these other things, if you don't have right, it doesn't matter how good your website looks. It's going to be extremely difficult for you to achieve any kinds of good success with your Shopify dropshipping store. So when it comes to website layout, number 1 thing is, of course, the overall theme. I don't mean the Shopify theme that you use. I mean the theme by colors, by font, by text size. All of these things should be basically getting well together, because if it doesn't flow well together, it's going gonna scream untrustworthiness to your potential customers. It's gonna make them want to run far away from your Shopify store. So if you want to have good conversion rates, if you want to have people trust you with their hard-earned money, you need to be making sure that your website layout is on point. You need to be making sure everything looks professional and loads quickly, because without that, nothing else matters. You need to have a good website, because the website is basically the first impression. But you want to, of course, be using all of these elements together. Missing one element and then using another may get you a few results, but in the end, to achieve maximum results, to basically get to the six-figure Shopify store level, you want to be implementing all of these elements together. You want to be focusing on where you're going wrong and then improve that, but also focus on where you're best at and make that even better. But if you're looking to take your Shopify store this year to the next level, especially with Google Ads, I do offer one-on-one Google Ads mentoring. You can message me on Instagram at DedicatedYoung. I take on new students every single month to achieve six-figure and seven-figure Shopify store level status. So if you want to take the guesswork out of it, you don't want to basically waste money just guessing and trying to figure things out yourself, be sure to message me on Instagram, because that can definitely help you, because I'll be providing you with all of my knowledge in order to get you up to this level. But if you found any type of value in this video, smash that like button and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.